Saturday, it's 5:15. I'm probably not going to be eating supper till, I don't know, 8:30, maybe even 9. Remember this book? It was from like the third episode of Come On in My Kitchen or something. Love this book, love the show. Laura and I used to watch it together. And I was floored when they made ciabatta. Okay, so I'm going to make a loaf of ciabatta right now. That's why I'm probably eating late. You can't be in a rush for this bread. As a matter of fact, before I left the shop, I did the first stage where you use half the flour, half the water, and half the yeast just to get a sponge going. And that builds flavor. It builds air. Ciabatta is a soft, pillowy, delicious Italian bread. It's the Italians' answer to the French's baguette. So the first sponge takes 6 hours. And I did that before I left at 10:30. So it's been almost 7 hours, but at least 6 hours. So we're going to do the second stage of the bread now. And then I picked up a few things at the market to combine with stuff from the yard for a killer ciabatta sandwich for dinner. So come on over to the board and let's see where this ciabatta's out and finish her on up. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. All right, here's my sponge. Did it at 10:30 this morning. It smells incredible, yeasty. It's wet. So we're going to put this in the KitchenAid bowl. You know what might work better than this? A wet hand. There we go. So I'm going to transfer this to this bowl. Now this was half the flour, half the water, half the yeast. So now we're going to do the other half and also add a little bit of salt. Again, not on top of the yeast. And a little bit of olive oil. Wait, I got to look at the book. Do we add the olive oil or is that? No, that's just for the container. So it was 200 grams of flour, 3.5 grams, well, I did 4 of salt, and 150 milliliters of water. So we're going to do the exact same amount. As our yeast, we'll put it on this side. And we'll take our salt, 7 grams of salt, we'll go over here. And 150 mil, cool water is fine. You don't need warm water for this. Okay, I'm looking at the book. Yes, it does say to add the olive oil. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there. And this is not the extra virgin fruity. This is just my table olive oil, regular olive oil, store brand. You want to keep, stuff around for finishing, salads, and then you need your all-purpose cooking oils. Okay, let's give this a little mix. Just a touch, and we'll let the dough hook go to work. Actually, you know what? I think since we have the sponge, I think we can rely on the hook just by itself. Let's move the camera up over here and give her a go. Nice and gentle. Number 2 to start. Yeah, since the sponge is there, we don't need to use the dough hook or the Danish whisk or anything. It's got enough body to just get going. So we'll need this for about 5 minutes. We want it to get soft and stretchy. Go up to 4. All right, I'll see you in 5. Okay, the timer's up, but it's not necessarily always about the clock. We want to do a little stretch test here. Yeah, we're looking good. So let's transfer this now. I've got my trusty proofing container here. And by the way, for this bread, this is actually quite essential. And we want to get it well oiled because when this dough rises, ciabatta is a very, very interesting bread because it's going to get filled with air. And once it is, we're going to want to try to disturb it as little as possible when it comes out of here and before we bake it. So let's oil this like crazy, because if all goes well, we should just be able to tip it out. Okay, now I got my oiled fingers, which is good for this, because I want to take this dough and just gently lower it in. All right, get as much out as I can. The oiled fingers out. This is super sticky. It's super wet, and that's what you want for ciabatta. It's almost like making a pizza dough in a way. Well hydrated. This was the hardest thing for me to learn with bread baking. I used to get freaked out and start adding flour, and then you wind up with a brick, not a loaf of bread. Okay, we'll get this lid on, and at least an hour, could be 2 hours. And I want you to take a good look at this, because you're going to see what happens to this dough, all right? It should balloon up nicely. I'll see you in 5:38, 6:37. I'm going to let it go 2 hours because I want that airy ciabatta. So I'll see you about 7:30, and we'll go to the next phase of this bread. Get a load of our bread dough, ciabatta. That's at least doubled, if not more. And that thing is jam-packed with air bubbles. So here's the key to this bread. We want to keep as much of that air in there as possible. This is not like a sourdough where you punch it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the same bread flour, my King Arthur bread. It's my most ubiquitous flour in here. A blue and white bag. And we're going to do, we want to be generous on the board because we don't want this sticking. This dough is wet and sticky. So we'll use almost half and half the bread flour and some semolina. Okay? So let's mix that. And we want to get some of this also on our parchment lined pan here. I got a baking sheet. Let's do like so. Okay. Set that aside. We'll use that momentarily. And now, the key to this bread is tipping this thing out and trying to keep as much of that air as possible in there. And it should just release thanks to the olive oil. There it goes. You shouldn't have to pull it or even touch it. See that? Look. Not much left inside. Now, let's take some of this flour here and dust the top a little. Oh, it's dripping with oil. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to go to the long way here. I'm going to make 2 loaves and cut it the long way because we don't want to, we're going to shape it. But again, we want to leave it as airy as possible. So here we go. Now, let me get the tray. Is that in frame? Yep. I'm learning now to check, right? Let's start with this guy. And we need more flour. More semolina. Because what we want to do here is shape the loaf. Like you see, I'm trying not to disturb it. Now, let's get it up on the tray. And gently stretch it out into that ciabatta shape. Give it those sort of butt round ends. Number one. Let's get number two. Up here. Oh, this one looks even better. Now, don't worry about the shape being perfect. Rustic is good. That's what this is, a rustic Italian bread. Now, let's get the rest of what's on here and just give it a little dusting. And now I'm going to take this. I've got the oven preheat. No, I didn't turn it on yet. I should turn it on. But what we want to do is one final rise for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes while the oven preheats. So let's take this bag, plastic bag. You want kind of a loose, airy bag that fits the tray. This doesn't completely fit it. So, wait, I wonder if it'll go this way. I didn't try that. Ooh, yes, beautiful. I was going to do a second bag, but I think we're good. So in here, and we'll just let that sit on the counter right here. Well, not right here because I want to do something else with here. All right, let me move that over to the other counter. And we'll get the oven, 425 Fahrenheit, get that preheating. I've got the griddle on. See, I can turn that off because we want to get all our sandwich fillings together. I'll set it up and then we'll have a talk right here. All right, what do we want to put on our sandwich here? Well, I was out shopping today. I got some nice imported prosciutto, a fresh mozzarella, and then I almost bought baby arugula. I did buy some greens, like a mixed salad greens, but I'm not going to use those because you guys already know I get a little fanatical when things are growing here. I don't want to taint with the store-bought. So we've got these delicious little tomatoes. I don't even know what these are called, but I've been loving them. I save seeds every year. I don't remember the name of those. They're tasty. Got some fresh basil. And then what I'm going to do is well, I think there's another couple coming in, but the zucchini is about wrapping up. I meant to plant another round, and I sort of didn't get around to it. So the zucchini are wrapping up, but this is a perfect size to grill for our sandwiches. And by grill, I mean we're just going to use the griddle on the stove top. So this I'll save. I'll probably do that with some pasta tomorrow because I just want the flat pieces. So let's do one. Cut them about a 1/4 inch. Two. And we'll do 3 of them. They may not all go on the sandwich, but they'll be grilled. Actually, I'll just do those 2 because this will be beautiful with pasta tomorrow. So let's bring these over to the stove. All right, I got a flame under that. Let's get our olive oil, the cooking olive oil. Get a little on the griddle. The oven is warming up for our bread. It's at 250. We want 425. Okay. Let's get our zucchini on, even though we're not, well, I hear a very light sizzle, but it's okay if we're not up to temp. These aren't steaks. We just want to grill them out. So while that's going, I'll cut up the tomatoes. I'll slice a little mozzarella. I'll get all ready to pack our sandwich. All right, pardon the vent hood. The zucchini is looking good, though. What I'm doing now, I'm using the extra virgin, okay? And I'm just putting a few drops. Whoops, overdid it there a little, but that's okay. Not going to hurt anybody. Already did the other side. And I'm just giving it a little salt, just seasoning. And these are grilling up beautifully. So the oven's at just about to hit 400. I'll back up the camera and we'll pop our bread in the oven when it hits 425. Okay, that's 425. We're good to go. Let's take a look at our bread here. Had that final rise. Oh, look at that puff. It's going to be some nice ciabatta, trust me. Let's get her in. Set this for 30 minutes. And I think the zucchini is just done. So let's turn this off. We'll let that blow for another minute, then I can shut the fan. Yeah, it's nice and tender now. All right, I'm going to transfer that over to our prep platter where we're going to assemble our sandwich once the bread's done. All right, I'll see you all in 30. Okay, the timer went off. We're at 30 minutes. Let's turn the oven off. Get our baking sheet out and see how we did. Ciabatta. Oh, it looks fabulous. Let's bring it over to the cooling rack. Two loaves. You can't rush this bread. It's a 10-hour commitment, but when you're done, it's so worth it. Oh, listen to that. I don't know if you can hear that. This bread is beautiful. And I'm not going to do what I did for the tomato sandwich episode. I'm going to go ahead and let this cool. It's 8:30 p.m. I said I might be eating at 9. Nailed it. See you in about 20. This has to cool. I did the right thing this time. I let this fully cool. It's already almost 9:20. I'm eating on Simmons time. Let's see. Let's set that one aside. And let's take the end here because we have to have a quality control check. That is one lovely loaf of bread. And I just happen to have, well, let's see. First, bread, just bread. Oh, it's heavenly. I happen to have, this is the last of my homemade butter from that episode out of the freezer, but have no fear. I picked up another quart of heavy cream today. I'll be making butter, if not tomorrow, during the week. And I love this plain unsalted butter for all-purpose use, but also that herb bed I put in the circle around that rock is just slamming. So I'm going to do a big mixed herb butter. Quality control. Oh, I can't even describe it. Oh, I need another one. Butter's almost gone. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see. I don't want to go crazy. I'll do, that should be a decent sandwich. What do you think? About 6 inches long. Slice it up. That is a lovely loaf of just about, well, I said I wasn't going to say favorites, and actually, I can't say favorites. I love a baguette. I love a sourdough loaf. Well, let's bring this over and make a sandwich. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Okay, now I'm getting excited because I think you saw this in the shot before I moved it. I meant to get it out of the shot. But I saved these little honey containers. Why? Because a lot of times I bring a salad to work for lunch, and this thing is just great for bringing your dressing. You mix a little vinaigrette in there, and then when you want to put it on your salad, because I would never dress my salad before work, gets all soggy. So then you have that top. And I did bring one on Friday, yesterday. So I have some leftover. This is Italian style dressing. Extra virgin olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, pepper, probably put a little dried oregano in there. So let's soak our bread with that. But now here's what I'm excited about. A few nights ago, I made, the aromas are coming in. I told you about the tomatoes, what I learned. You pick them, 40% blush, and then on the counter, just let them ripen. And the other night, I had they were, so ripe. I made a vodka sauce out of them, and I had it with shrimp, with a little linguine. So let's use this almost as if it were mayonnaise, but it's Roma tomato vodka sauce. And it's cold. This is going to be a cold sandwich. I mean, nobody loves melted mozzarella more than me, but no. We're just going to do a deli style sandwich, cold. So there you go. Look, the salad dressing. And now let's start with the zucchini. I think I only need the one. I'll save the other one for breakfast or whatever. Let's go with tomato. I salted these. You always want to do that. Pulls out water, adds to the flavor. You know what? That's a lot of tomato. I'm going with the other zucchini. Juicy. Oh. Prosciutto. Mozzarella. And fresh basil. There's our sandwich. Let me close it up. Give it a squish. Let's cut her. Right on the plate. Now. Oh, look at this. All right, now. I want to clean the plate up a little because I'm going to do a little garnish. Okay, there we go. Cleaned it up a little. Now, I think I told you all that the gardens are just slamming this year. Certain things. Some things didn't do so well. But the staples. And this has been one of the best cucumber years for me in history. And I have jars and jars of pickles in the fridge. I have garlic dill spears. I have garlic dill chips. I have big fermented deli sour pickles, bread and butter pickles. I have 2 big jars of kimchi. I have bread and butter string beans. But those are different flavors. A garlic dill spear you want with a burger. They don't really go with this Italian style sandwich. So another thing I picked up at the store today, I like to bring my salads to lunch, and I try to get these little gems to add to my salad from that little snack bar in the supermarket. So let's get a couple of these cherry peppers filled with, I think it's a goat style cheese, I'm not sure. A couple of these little olives here, the brined olives. I'll get another one of these green cherry peppers with provolone and prosciutto. That matches our prosciutto, right? A little artichoke heart, marinated. a couple of these marinated little button mushrooms. And last but not least, don't mind my sink, it's gurgling, a little pepperoncini, Tuscan pepper. All right, that looks like a nice plate. I'm going in. Okay, I'll just go right for the sandwich. I don't need to eat any of this stuff on camera. You know what that is. That's just store-bought goodies. But let's try our freshly baked ciabatta Italian sandwich with freshly ripened tomatoes, mozzarella, basil, grilled zucchini, prosciutto. Let's give it a go. Oh man, I don't know what to say about this bread. You can't describe it. It's in here. That is one of the greatest loaves of bread in the world. My opinion. And I got to sit down and enjoy this proper. See you for the next episode.
Come on, let's do it.